Yo, what's going on, man? Today is January the 3rd, 2023. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA show. I'm live on Twitter. I'm also live on YouTube as well. Y'all know the vibes, man. Hit the like button for me if you can as you join. Retweet the show, share the show, tell your coworkers, your best friend, all that good stuff. We got a big slate to get into. Twitter was actually acting a little bit crazy, and I know it's people probably still joining. That's going to join a little late, and that's all good. We just got to get the show started because I was actually about to be on time today, and then this happened. So I was trying to make sure Twitter was connected to it as well. But it's a lot of games today, a lot to get to. Try to keep the show under an hour, so we just going to jump right into it. Yesterday, just a quick recap. I didn't have any plays yesterday. Everything that not everything, but most of the things that I talked about yesterday did cash. Philly first half, Philly full game cash. Joel Embiid assist cash. It was a lot that I talked about that did cash. But I didn't make any official plays yesterday. I didn't play any bets yesterday either. Just wanted to kind of take a day off after getting smoked. Like I said, 1-4 the day before. Never hide from the losses. Always trying to, bounce back and, be better the next day. So took yesterday off. Love the slate today. Not going to go too crazy, but do got a couple plays that I want to share with you guys and want to give you guys my analysis as always on all the games. So hit the like button for me as you can, like I said, and let's just jump right into it. Shout out to David. He says community challenge, 100 likes today. Log into your Google profiles and hit the like button. Appreciate that. What's up, Tasha? Navi here, as always. Locked and loaded sports. Says rough 2 days. Celtics didn't come to play. We're getting that cash today for sure. Prolific likes the Wizards on the money line. He says he might take that stat. Navi reminding people to hit the like button as well. Daniel says, I think the Washington Wizards cover. Allen also getting 14 rebounds easily. Yeah, we're going to talk about that game for sure. And I appreciate everybody else as well. Call me Aries, young Harlow as always. Justin pulled up on me as always. Markel reminding people to hit the like button. Hobby Noble as well. My guys always here. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me every day, man. It definitely means a lot. I really, really appreciate y'all for sure. Marcus, Benjamin, Prolific, like I said, Big Marv, Akbar, J Props, everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's get into the slate for today. We got a lot of games to get through. So I'm gonna try my best to get through them as much as possible. Got me 2 bottles of water today because it is a lot to talk about. So break the games down for you guys, let you guys know what I'm looking at. So, and some of these spreads might have changed just a tad bit. I'll give you guys the updated numbers, but I will tell you guys some of these spreads might have changed just because I put these lines in like a couple hours ago, and some money may have come in on one side to kind of move the spread or the total just a tad bit. So let's jump right into it. First game up, the game you guys are kind of talking about is Wizards versus Cavs. Right, game will be played in Cleveland tonight. Cleveland is will open as 8.5-point favorites. They're up to 9.5-point favorites now. People just want to fade the Washington Wizards. This total came down just a tad bit from 240.5 down to 239.5. So I will tell you guys this: it is the first of those like little mini back-to-back series. Right, these two teams play again. I know it's not tomorrow. Let's see. Let me just look at it real quick. I know that they play again real soon because I wanted to make sure I documented that. And I always tell you guys, I think it's cool to like watch the first one and then take the thing that you think is going to happen different in the second one when the teams actually make adjustments. So these teams actually play again on Friday. So it's only 2 games tomorrow. They play again on Friday. That game will be in Cleveland as well. So but first of a little mini back-to-back series, Washington, really, really good at home, really, really good on the road covering numbers. We know that they went on that West Coast road trip where they got Golden State. Who else they played? They played Portland, won that game outright as a dog. Played a lot of teams out west. Who else was on that road trip? They played Golden State, Portland, Sacramento, and Phoenix and covered every single spread and got the push against the Golden State Warriors on the late number. They actually covered the 12 in that game as well. Remember, we were on that game. So this team, this is what they do. They cover on the road. For some reason, they have been covering a little bit at home as well. They beat Brooklyn outright on the 29th. And then, of course, they get smoked to Atlanta. They did end up covering that spread, though, but they were losing that game by a lot. This is their road, though. They're 11-6-1 against the spread on the road. They cover these inflated spreads, very similar to the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets been covering those inflated spreads as well. And I do feel like 9.5 is probably a tad bit too much. You look at this Cleveland team. I looked at it earlier. It's nothing really that stands out to me specifically. And when I say look at the Cleveland team, I mean the most recent Cleveland team. This team just went to Toronto. They couldn't stop Toronto. Toronto, of course, were infused with some energy from Quickly and RJ Barrett in their first game in Toronto. But I don't know if I'm really ready to lay 9.5 with this version of the Cleveland Cavaliers team. I looked at this team with their currently constructed lineup, and that's Donovan Mitchell on the floor, Evan Mobley off the floor, Darius Garland off the floor, and there's something like 2-3, 3-2, something like that. The only thing that's happening in those games is that the total is actually going up and over. I think it's like they're averaging 123 points, giving up like 123 points. So this Cavs team is still trying to find its footing just a tad bit. And I think Washington should be able to kind of keep this one close. As far as injury report, we don't really have anything significant in this one. Gallinari was listed as probable. I think he's in. And that's really it. The Cavs, like I said, they're off 2 losses, 2 back-to-back losses. They lost in Toronto. They lost and failed to cover both of those games. They failed to cover and lost the game against Milwaukee, and that game was actually at home. So I'll tell you guys, if I'm playing anything in this game, it's 2 things that I like, and they're both player props outside of the spread. I would take, if I had to play this game, I'll be taking Washington plus the points. I think it's a tad bit too many. I think they can keep it within 6, maybe even within 5 in this game. If I'm playing something in this game, I'm playing Donovan Mitchell over his threes, right? So looking at the number, it was 3.5 earlier. Plus, it was actually plus 100. So pretty, even money. Donovan Mitchell's only been back for 2 games for the Cavs. And in those games, he's attempted 19 threes in 2 games. He shot 2 for 10 versus the Bucks last Friday in that first home game back, kind of getting his footing underneath him. Then he shot 4 for 9 on Monday in Toronto. So I think, fast-paced team. We know that you get a pace-up spot. The Wizards are top 5 in pace. Few games underneath his belt, being back at the crib against the worst defense in the league statistically. And the Washington 3-point defense has actually been pretty bad as well. Over the last 5 games, they're allowing the 4th highest 3-point percentage at 39% per game. So this team is actually giving up a bunch of threes. We know they play with a lot of pace. On the season, Donovan Mitchell shooting 9 threes a game, making 3 of them. No Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley. I think that continues in this spot. So I expect Mitchell to be able to carry this team offensively, whether he's scoring or facilitating. We know he likes to shoot a ton of threes, pull up in transition, swing, off the pick and roll, all that. And the other thing that maybe people that's been watching this Cavs team, because I've been watching them and I wanted to check this out. The Cavs are actually shooting the second most threes over the last 5 games. So since since Evan Mobley and Darius Garland have been gone, they're just jacking up threes. Karis LeVert, Max Strus. So I'd be looking at Donovan Mitchell to go over his threes prop in this game, over 3.5 in this game. 42 threes per game is the second most in the last 5 games for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this spot. Also, I don't think it's a bad look, and this one's kind of spicy. Looking at Jared Allen, I know we were on him in the last game, his points plus rebounds. I actually like his rebounds plus assists in this game. He can score. Yeah, I think he could definitely score. But if you go through and just kind of look at Jared Allen rebounds number, dude had 11 rebounds in the last game. And that was a bad game, honestly, against Toronto. He should have got like 13 rebounds against Jakob Poeltl, but he had 11 rebounds and 4 assists. So he finished right on the line. Jared Allen rebounds plus assists the number is 15.5. The best number I saw was minus 122 on FanDuel. So he finished right below this number in the last game. But before that, against Milwaukee, 12-6. Before that, against Dallas, 23-6. Before that, Chicago, 17-7. So it's crazy to think, but they actually running the offense through him just a tad bit more. His 3.5 assists, I think, was at plus money. I don't know if it necessarily should be at plus money with him getting the ball and kind of working this offense. So those are my thoughts on this game. I lean Washington plus the points, didn't play it. Also lean Jared Allen over his rebounds plus assist line at 15.5, and then Donovan Mitchell over his 3.5 threes in this spot. I do think it's a spot where he could hit 5-6 threes tonight. So let's go to the comments real quick. I'm gonna be real quick with the comments. Not gonna get everybody today because we got a lot of games on the board, and I want to try to get through them in a respectful manner, respectful time frame. Let's see. Can't cash them all. Cash Thunder -4. Big Marv says, let's cash it in, my guy. Jay Prop says he hit a 3-leg parlay yesterday. Luke Kennard 3s. I figured that was going to hit. Ja Morant 8 assists and Wemby 3 blocks because of y'all. I'm glad you're here, Jay. Hopefully we can give out some more winners today. Bryce says he's passing on this game. Daniel says Cleveland 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 big totals. Covered twice versus the Hawks. Washington at 500 against the spread on the season, but 11-7 against the spread on the road, I believe. Yeah, 11-6-1, depending on where you got the number at, Daniel. So yeah, to me, like I said, it's too many points. Shadow says, what do you think about Jared Allen over 14.5 rebounds and assists? That's exactly what I just talked about, Shadow. If I was playing a prop, that's what I would play. Buffalo says, I plan to take the Wizards for a game live if they get down, but they usually do. I want to get them better than the 9.5. I could not talk you off. I don't think that the Cavs win this game by margin. I do not agree with that. Let's see what else. Anything else on this game? Not anything else on this game. So we're gonna keep going. Like I said, hit the like button for me if you can. Appreciate all the comments as always. Let's get to the next game. So we got Bucks, we got Pacers. This line came all the way down to it opened at 2.5 in favor of Milwaukee. It's actually moving in favor of Milwaukee to 3.5. The total 258.5 is down to 257.5. I didn't see any update. Y'all let me know if y'all see anything. The last time I checked, Chris Middleton was on the injury report. He's listed as questionable with a wrist injury. I didn't see that happen in the last game, but I was kind of flipping back and forth between that when the Bucks were playing the Pacers and they were at home. And that, I think that's a good place to start in this game. So I do got to play on the total. I'll tell you guys that in a second. Nembhard is listed as questionable here. Milwaukee 8-6 on the road, straight up in against the spread. Indiana 9-7 straight up in against the spread at home. They won 4 straight and covered 4 straight in a row, and it's really been their defense. Their defensive rating was bottom 3 throughout the large part of the season. And I told you guys, I said the Pacers are gonna be better when they get rest, right? I keep saying this. Like I talked about taking the Pacers in the last game plus the 8.5, and I didn't even pull the trigger. But the Pacers were going through that stretch because, like all other teams, especially when you play so fast, your defense is going to be impacted. They came back home, got a couple days under their belt to kind of practice, and now you see them cover, and they've won 4 straight and covered, and 2 of them were actually as dogs as well. I think if TJ McConnell doesn't play in this spot, we definitely could look. I'm sorry, if Nembhard doesn't play, I think TJ McConnell props are definitely live in this spot. I think he could have a really big game. But as far as the spread, I know the Pacers have been balling, but the numbers tell me that when these two teams play against each other and the favorite loses, you typically take the favorite in the next game. I know that the spreads come down from 8.5 down to 3.5, so it's moved 5 points all together, and they only open as 2.5-point favorites. But the Bucks have actually been playing really, really well, and that's not just defense, not just offensively. Like defensively, the Bucks have actually been balling for the most part as well. Their defense has really picked up. They actually have defensive rating. The Bucks have been a little bit better. They're actually 16th, and we know that they were one of the worst defensive teams in the league as well. So looking at this game, I think the Bucks are going to be fired up. They're probably going to want to get their revenge in this spot. Couldn't talk anybody off Giannis props. We know he kills this team. They really don't have any answer for him at all. I think looking at the last game, it's the same props because the defenses don't change. Brook Lopez still not going to be able to guard Miles Turner. So looking at Miles Turner's threes, I think is in play. Halliburton can't be guarded by any of those guards on the opposite team, so I couldn't talk anybody off that. But this is what I did end up playing. And I saw it at 258.5 when it opened. We got to remember the last total actually closed at 260.5. That game only scored like 230 points. And that's because both of these defenses have actually been better. So spot play. We shout out to my guy Ski. He kind of named this. If you know, you know, and that's over or under based on the previous matchup. So what the query says is that if two teams play within 3 days and the first game goes under and the total opens up lower than the previous total, since 2013, those games are 68, 44-2 to the under. That's 60.7%. However, it gets better. If you go in and you add that the previous favorite, the favorite actually lost the last game that was supposed to win, then it goes to 39, 17 and 1 to the under. It goes to 70%. So I did play the under. Didn't have, but I think 257 is fine. I just don't think both of these teams. All it takes is for one quarter, and these teams won't be able to score. I look at the numbers. Last 2 weeks, Indiana has been the 12th rated defensive team. Milwaukee's been 13th. Bucks, they've gone under 4 of their last 6 games and 2 in a row. And the Pacers have actually gone under 4 of their last 6 games as well. So it feels like a time to kind of sell high on these totals for the Pacers games if they're going to be playing at a little slower pace, which is they have been, and the defense is going to be a little better. So I like the under. Also, Chris Middleton, even if he does play in this game, he might not be 100% with that wrist injury. The Bucks offensive rating actually drops from 125.77 to 118 without Middleton on the floor. So Middleton in, Middleton out. I don't really care. If Middleton comes out, if he doesn't play because of that wrist injury, I definitely think it's a big under spot for sure. And I kind of like the Pacers a little bit more without Middleton on the floor. So those are my thoughts on the game. Let's see what you guys got here, and we'll keep it moving. We haven't gotten to those games yet. Try to keep the comments to the games that we're on. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. That'll be helpful. Otto says Bruce Brown is questionable as well. I didn't see Bruce Brown listed as questionable. Is Bruce Brown listed as questionable? I didn't know he could potentially come back for this game. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Beans. Bruce Brown is listed as questionable. Maybe he could be a little rusty. I know it's been about 4 or 5 games since he's played. Locked and Loaded Sports says Pacers back in that middle. Pacers back in that middle, in that mode. I'm sorry, but Bucks was in control until the 4th and revenge spot. If Middleton is in, I'll take the Bucks -3. I agree with that. I do think the Bucks are the right side in this one. Coop says Ben Mathurin rebounds is a sneaky look. He rebounds well versus the Bucks. If you watch the game, Coop, it's so much I can give you guys, but I don't have time because the show would just be too long. If you watch the game, they actually interviewed Ben Mathurin afterwards. He had 25 points and 13 rebounds in that game, and they asked him like, why you rebound the ball so well? He said, last game I had 0 rebounds, so I'm just in there trying to help my team out as much as I possibly can. They need him. They absolutely need him. When you're losing somebody like Bruce Brown, who can be like a Swiss Army knife, you need your guards to be able to go down there and rebound the ball. Ben Mathurin is super athletic, so could not talk you off looking at his rebound prop again in this spot here, Coop. Under 257, I think that's good money, Kyle. I played 257.5. So if it's 258, we both lose. If it's 257, you get a push, I get a win. I don't think it goes to 257, though. That's just my thought. Daniel says Brook Lopez blocks last 5 games versus Indy. He has 4, 6, 4, 3, and 3. That's a good look, Daniel. Could not talk you off. Yeah, I'm trying to share information, locked and loaded. Let's see. Bruce won't play, said the coach. Young Harlow says, what's up to my guy Estai? He said, we outside. Everyone smash that like button for the GOAT. We no titles, Estai. We don't want to be the GOAT. We just want the cash. We just want the cash, my brother. But I appreciate the kind words. Smokey Steam best like the Bucks in the first half. He says quick revenge, quick turnaround revenge. I could not talk you off. The Bucks have been really, really good in the first half. Could not talk you off. They've been killing in the first half. Bryce says, my heart tells me Pacers, but them queries telling me Bucks. Yeah, I'm with, and that's why I didn't play it, Bryce. That's why I didn't play it. I will say, if you haven't played this game and you want to play it, wait. Like, you can wait on the injury news. Just already know what side you want to be on. You find out if Chris Middleton is going to play. If you like the Bucks, then maybe if you still like the Bucks, you get a much better number. If you like the Pacers, smash it immediately. That's really how it goes. One more real quick. Keith says he rewatched the game and noticed that Dame was aggressive early. The Bucks have to rebound to control the pace because Brook can't keep up with the pace. I agree. He said he loves Dame PRA here. Okay. Yeah, Dame ain't really been killing like he should be killing. He's been going under his props. So maybe the line's a little bit too inflated. Could be a potential big game for Dame today. Let's keep going. We got Bulls and we got Knicks next. So this actually, where's the spread now? I know it opened last night at 8.5. No, it didn't. It opened at 7. It's up to 9. It went up to 9.5, which is what you guys see. It's since then come back down to 9. And I think that's because Kobe White got rolled in. He's going to be probable in this game. Kobe White means a lot to this team. I mean, you're already down Zach LaVine. You're already down Vucevic. I gave you guys the numbers yesterday. For anybody who tuned into the show yesterday, I told you that the Bulls, they don't score. Without Zach LaVine, without Vucevic in those last 3 games, those games are averaging like 216, 217 points. You see this total opened at 220. What did it open at? 220, 221. And it's come down just a tad bit to 220.5. So a little bit of money on the under here. Let me get to first, let me start with this. Y'all know I'm not betting this game. I told y'all yesterday, no Knicks games for me. I'm good off the Knicks. Not betting. I'll break the game down for y'all, let y'all know how I'm looking at it, but I'm not betting Knicks games for at least 2 weeks after yesterday. After we lost the day before, after we lost on the Timberwolves. So the Knicks seem to be doing really, really well when they're getting points, but when they're laying points, maybe not as much. I will say when they're laying this amount of points, they typically do play well. And if I wanted the Knicks, I would have probably got on them yesterday. Bad spot for the Chicago Bulls. We know that they got smoked yesterday. Should have played them. Should have absolutely played Philly yesterday. Like I said, I you know what? Never mind. I was just frustrated watching the game because these 2 teams just played, and B shouldn't make that much of a difference. But it was a bad travel spot. So Chicago goes from road in Philly to road in New York. This is the second game of and last game of a homestand. They actually of a road trip. They go back home and play Charlotte coming up. They just down a lot of bodies, man. I know Drummond rebounds is probably a good look. I don't feel comfortable laying this many points with the Knicks, but they could absolutely come in here and clean up the Bulls. I'm not on it though. I'm not gonna waste too much of your time Minnesota. I'm sorry, for the Knicks. If they play any stifling type defense that they played against the Timberwolves, they have every chance to hold the Chicago Bulls team under 100 points in this game. I really, really believe that. They do have a game on Friday against Philly where they have to travel to Philly for that game. So I don't have great thoughts on this game. Kobe White, like I said, listed as questionable, listed as probable. Patrick Williams also went down with an ankle injury. He's listed as questionable. Without Vucevic, it's just a lot of offense missing. Chicago didn't make a three into the second quarter of that game yesterday. The Knicks 3-point defense is not as great. Maybe they come out a little lax. They just so unpredictable. I can't predict this team. So I'm staying off these Knicks games, just kind of giving you guys my thoughts. Let's see what y'all liking in this game. Sean Moody says Pacers team total. If you mean over, Sean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I know that they've been cashing it pretty much every single time against the Bucks. They didn't cash it in the last game because that game actually went under. Both teams stayed under the team total. But I don't let me talk you one way or another. I like the full game under, and that's what I played. I played under 257.5. Navi says not playing Kobe White threes for a while now. Yeah, that ankle injury is tough. Malik, Chicago guy, he says Bulls team total was at 104 at halftime yesterday. Easy money, man. Take that under on the Bulls. This is a scheduled loss off of them. I would agree with that one, Malik. They just got smoked so bad yesterday. You'd expect something in this game. Maybe Drummond rebounds. Even though they got smoked, Drummond still cashed his rebound prop yesterday. Let's see. Tasha says, which is 1 hour away, Philly to New York. Yeah, I would agree. It's not a far travel at all. And some of their starters got the rest. Let's see. SK says, what about Philly not scoring in the last 8 minutes? That was really good for the under. That's what that was. I saw that as well, SK. And B didn't play the fourth quarter. Dude dominated through 3 quarters and then chilled in the fourth quarter. Elroy likes the Knicks on the first quarter money line. Buffalo says, I took Anunoby 2+ turnovers at -105 odds. I'd imagine being in the new environment, he'll turn it over a bit more, and the Bulls are good at forcing turnovers from forwards. Okay. Best of luck there, Buffalo. Last one. Coop says, I think this is an OG showcase game. I took his points and I like his threes. You guys alluded yesterday about the Bulls giving up threes to the corner. Yeah, shout out to Finesse. Finesse came in yesterday, talked about Kelly Oubre line opening at 1.5. He cashed it. He cashed it before I could turn the game on. Like he had 8 points when I turned the game on. He had already hit 2 threes. So if you got a chance to watch the Knicks game versus the Timberwolves the other day, the announcers talk about how the Knicks offense is predicated on drive and kick, right? So Brunson, he drives and he kicks. That's how he ended up with 14 assists, career high in assists for Brunson the other day. Same thing with Julius Randle. This team is very unselfish. The Knicks are. It's just a matter of if they're gonna knock down their shots or not. But OG is definitely gonna get the attempts. I'll tell you that. I cannot talk you off his over threes in this spot, Coop. He's been open. And if he can do it to the Timberwolves defense, he can definitely do it to the Bulls defense on the second leg of a back-to-back. Next game up. Let's keep moving. We gotta get through these games. Next game up, we got Timberwolves. We got Thunder and we got Hawks. So let me get to my notes here. OKC, 9-4 against the spread and straight up on the road. This team is red hot. Probably maybe playing the best basketball in the league right now. This is a back-to-back. They did beat Boston last night at the crib. Then they had to fly all the way to Atlanta. They've won 5 straight, covered every single game. Thunder 3-0, straight up and against the spread on the second leg of a back-to-back. All 3 of those games have actually gone over as well. And then you get this measly Hawks team. They're 4-9 at home, 1-12 against the spread, 2-8 in their last 10 against the spread. They have a game in Indiana on Friday. They're 3-1 straight up and against the spread when they're more rested than their opponent. But those wins came against the Pelicans early in the seasons, the Pistons, which we're not going to talk about how bad the Pistons are, and the Wizards. So I take that with a grain of salt just a tad bit. I will tell you guys this. This line seems super trappy, right? You only need Atlanta to come in here and pretty much you only need OKC to come in here and pretty much win by 1 point. And the spread has actually come down. OKC opened as 1-point favorites yesterday. Now they're down to a pick. So money coming in on Atlanta. It's a lot of brave people that like gambling if you keep putting your money on Atlanta. I see Atlanta move so many spreads and they never cover or win the game. I'll tell you guys this though. So I was looking at something. I was like, let me try to figure out why this line is so short. So what I looked at good teams. When I say good teams, I mean teams that win 55% of the time, which the Oklahoma City Thunder do. And I looked at those teams playing a team that also is good. So another team that has a 55% win percentage as well. And you win the first game as a dog, and then you're unrested and you're a road favorite, a short road favorite, just 3 points or less. Those teams are still 27 and 22 straight up. They are 23 and 26 against the spread, but you literally just need this team to win the game in this spot. So 27 and 22 is 55%. One more time, I'll tell you guys, that trend was good team, 55% win percentage or better, against another good team, 55% win percentage or better. You won that game, you're unrested. You won as a dog, you're unrested. Now you're a road favorite, and you only need to win the game by one possession, 3 points or less. 27 and 22 straight up. I think this is a live betting game, which is why I didn't pull the trigger on OKC in this spot. I don't think that they're going to rest anybody. This team is extremely young, extremely hungry. Quotes come out from Chet Holmgren last night. Chet said, we're on to Atlanta. We're getting ready for the next game. Chris Middleton, knee and wrist, expected to play Wednesday. So that may even push the total up a tad bit. Then you could come in on the under if you want to ride with me. That news just broke. So and to me, that's been true, right? Every time you think, or every time that I think OKC is going to slip up, they haven't. Who wants to catch the falling knife with Atlanta in this spot? I know I don't want to. Houston, I'm sorry. OKC is the better rebounding team. Well, they're not the better rebounding team. They're the better defensive team, offensive team, three-point shooting team, better defensive three-point team. So unless Atlanta is going to take advantage of them on the rebounds, which Atlanta is a good rebounding team, I think that's the only way that the Hawks actually have a spot in this game. I'll tell you guys my favorite play in this game though, and then I'll keep moving. And I played this already. I locked it in already. And it goes back to the rebound. I took Jalen Johnson on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I gave this out to the members. First prop I played in a really, really long time. I played Jalen Johnson double points plus rebounds in that spot at 26.5. And I want to say he had 25 at halftime. He cashed early in the third quarter. So today I played his double-double at plus 135 on DraftKings. I'm sorry, on FanDuel. Plus 135 for Jalen Johnson double-double. This dude has back-to-back double-doubles versus the Kings and the Wizards in his two most recent games. And he's only been back for 3 games. So I kind of feel like the books just haven't caught on yet. The only other game that he played, he missed a double-double by 1 rebound versus the Bulls. He's averaging 17 points on 11 shots, shooting nearly 60% from the field since his return in those 3 games. Now he gets a pace-up spot. OKC is the 7th fastest pace in the league. Atlanta is the 5th fastest pace in the league. And the Thunder, they're the second worst rebounding team in the league. And they're on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel as well. So you look at Jalen Johnson just a tad bit more. Dude's averaging 12.3 rebounds, which is more than Capella, on 18.7 rebound chances since his 3-game return. He's also averaging 33.6 minutes, which is number 1 in that front court outside of Sadiq Bey, or just right behind Sadiq Bey. So I played Jalen Johnson double-double. My favorite player prop on the board tonight is Jalen Johnson double-double. Probably going to live bet this game. I will be watching it, but I kind of feel like I'm missing out on money just by not taking OKC on the money line right now. But I chill. I stayed away. I'm a chill on it. We'll see what happens. I feel like you, Coop. I see Coop said it's kind of tempting. Let's see what you guys are talking about in this game, and we're gonna keep it moving. Hey, what's your prediction for the Utah Jazz game tonight? Jeff said I go in order. Jaffet, I think is how you pronounce that. I always go in order, so I'll get to that game in a few. Kirby says OKC money line, super hammer. I'll be right there with you, man. NLSB says suspect. He thinks the line is a little suspect. Marcus says it's the spot though. It is. You got to explain that a little bit more, Marcus. The spot for who? Because OKC is young. This is not like the Lakers, beating up against a team, that beat them. This is OKC, a young, hungry team that's out to prove themselves. I think about it like OKC lost. They beat Denver in Denver. Remember about 2 weeks ago when SGA hit the game winner? They came back home. They had 5-game homestand. They won every single game except the Laker game. Then they went back to Denver and smoked Denver. I can't see a way to take Atlanta in this spot. They don't play enough defense for me. I know that they have the rest advantage. I know OKC got a big win last night, but to me, it still be OKC. And they might not care about this game as much. But I tell you one thing, it's not like I'm taking them plus, I'm taking them -4. I'm taking them to win the game on the money line. It's got to be OKC for me. I didn't play it, but those are my thoughts. Daniel says this line is super fishy. I feel like both teams will be up 10 plus at one point, so I'll take OKC live. That's how I'm kind of feeling too. Coop says Thunder -1 is tempting, and the Thunder play well even on back-to-backs. I gave you guys the numbers: 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread, and 3-0 to the over on a back-to-back as the Oklahoma City Thunder this season. So we're not talking about an old team. This is a young team. Bryce says Hawks team first half team total over 60.5. I might sprinkle on Hawks first half OKC full game at +500. Atlanta has actually been really good in the first half at home and an absolute fade in the second half. I've been looking at that as well, Bryce. The problem with that for me is that OKC has been just as good in the first half. They've been one of the better. I'm pretty sure their numbers are better than the Hawks numbers in the first half. So not going to get too much into it, but that's my only caution. Also, if OKC is going to run out of gas, it's probably going to be in the second half. So that's kind of conflicting, which is why I stayed off of that. Locked and Loaded says Thunder and over. The line is suspect, and he don't care. I only lean that way with you. Definitely with you. Also, I wanted to share this as well. I don't even know if I wrote this down, but I looked at the Atlanta Hawks when they were at home, specifically with a short line. So a 3-point dog to a 3-point favorite. They like 4 and 10 in that spot. They don't win. If you add that they're at home in that spot, and the line is between 3 and 3, they're 7-1 to the over. So it could just be over. OKC is 3-0 to the over on the second leg of a back-to-back. And we know Atlanta defense is absolutely terrible. Jabari says I'm playing OKC. If I fall for the bait, so be it. That's where I'm at with it too. But I didn't play it. Maybe the better play is the Hawks are up by halftime. I bet OKC because the Hawks failed to execute in crunch time. I would agree there. Coop says Jalen Johnson is a wagon. Over 7.5 rebounds for Bryce and quickly over 12.5 points at +100. I'm Breezy says, as a 15-year OKC fan, you got to keep running OKC money line. And SGA 25 points. Even 30 is good money, especially this season with how the teams play. I would agree, man. Call me Aries says OKC lose, then it's whatever. I'm live with it. I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you. The line does seem fishy. It does seem fishy, but it's fishy for a reason. And like I said, I didn't play it, but it's only Atlanta for me. Regression is coming. Riding with Vegas. Lingo Wick says we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let's keep going. We got a lot more games to get into. Next game up, we got Nets. We got Rockets. This line was coming down, and it's still coming down. I got 5.5 on the show, but this line is actually down to 4 now. And I'm not 100% sure why. Let me check the injury report real quick. So Jabari Smith Jr. is ruled in. Tari Eason got ruled out. Maybe that's what it was. I did see that he got ruled out. Oh man. So that means Jayshawn Tate gonna slide in at the small forward position. As he has been with Dylan Brooks out. So Fred VanVleet still in, Sengun still in, Jalen Green still in. This game tricky, man. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This game is super tricky. So with the line getting shorter, it really makes no sense to me. I know that the Nets got smoked yesterday. I went back, listened to all of Coach Jacques Vaughn. He did call his team out because they've been trash. 7-9 against the spread on the road, but more importantly, 1-9 ATS their last 10 back-to-back as well from New Orleans. So short travel, 5th straight non-cover for this team. They haven't won since they played the Pistons like 2 weeks ago, which is crazy. This is this is the reason why I don't even care about take the names off the jersey and just put Team A and Team B out there. And this is the 6th game for this Brooklyn Nets team in 9 nights. It's not a spot you necessarily want to back them in. When I say they got smoked, they scored 58 points through 3 quarters yesterday, the fewest by any team this season. Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Thomas combined for 0, the same amount of points all of us had. That's 4 straight losses, 9 of their last 11, and now they're 15-19 on the season. You look at Houston, this team bounced back. full game, they bounced back. They didn't bounce back in the first quarter and first half like I had them in the last game against Detroit, but they are 12-5-1 against the spread at home. 5th straight home game, not spot you typically want to fade them in. And like I said, the travel spot for Brooklyn is terrible. This is the second leg of a back-to-back, 3rd game in 4 nights, 4th game in 6 nights, 5th game in 8 nights, and 6th game in 9 nights. They could respond, is what I wrote in my notes, to Coach Jacques Vaughn kind of calling them out last night. But I still think that if they do, it'll be early. And that's the only way I would play them. Maybe first quarter, first half, but full game, I think they still could run out of gas in this spot. So one of the things I looked at was that exact query, right? So looking at teams that's playing on their 6th game in 10 nights, if you add that they're road dogs since the 2018 season, they're 17-51 straight up, 29-38-1 against the spread. That's 57% faded in Nets tonight. And if the game is a non-conference game, because typically teams don't care as much about non-conference games, the Brooklyn Nets might care about this game because they've been absolutely trashed. But if you add to their non-conference game, their non-conference opponent in that same scenario, 6 game in 9 nights, and their road dog, they're 3-21 straight up, 8-9 against the spread. That's 70.4% is the fade against the spread tonight. So Nets early for me is the way I would play this one. Houston full game is the way I would play this one. I don't care about the money coming down. Maybe I don't know something, but I don't really look at the numbers too much. It is kind of alarming, and I didn't bet it at all, but that would be my top look in this game. Also, shout out to my guy, Munoz. He talked about this when we did the propcast earlier. Looking at Fred VanVleet to go over his 2.5 threes. The Nets 3-point defense has been absolutely atrocious. They gave it up last night to the Pelicans. They gave it up a couple nights before that to OKC when they were on the road. And it's just a really, really bad spot. It's a really, really bad spot for this team. Even if you wanted to kind of muster up something, it's going to be hard, given this spot. And it doesn't feel like, I know for sure it's correlated to me. They haven't been themselves since they got smoked by the Bucks in the second half when Coach Jacques Vaughn pulled all their starters out. So that's the last time they were even competitive in a game. And they lost that second half. They got smoked because their second unit came in. They lost that game 144-122. So those are my thoughts on the game. Dennis Smith Jr. also listed as questionable in this spot. They'll still be without Lonnie Walker, of course, as well, who hasn't been playing. They should bounce back. I just don't think that they get the job done, especially with the spread coming down. If I'm playing this game, I'm laying the 4 points right now. And I think if you like Brooklyn, you like them early. Fred VanVleet to go over his 2.5 3-point makes, could not talk anybody off of that either. And those are my thoughts on this game. Let's see. El Sancho says might be a nice spot for a halftime prop play. Let's see. Anybody else got thoughts? Cal B says, is Johnson an official pick? Official, like a referee blowing a whistle, like my guy J Money said. Absolutely, Cal. I locked it in earlier this morning at plus 135 on DraftKings. I'm sorry, I keep saying DraftKings. On FanDuel. FanDuel had the best odds at 135. But yeah, I played Jalen Johnson over to get a double-double tonight. Will says, would you like Fred VanVleet points too? I took over 18.5 at plus 105. Yeah, I think it's correlated, but he could, not score as many points. But I think he will, though. I think he will in this spot. Spencer Dinwiddie's not a great defender at all. And I was going back and looking, last 7 games, the Brooklyn Nets actually give up the 6th most points to point guards. They're giving up 28.9 to the point guard position. And Fred VanVleet plays a lot of minutes. You can if you watch any of their games, you can tell Udoka trusts him a lot. So I think it's cool for you to take that over, especially with Houston still trying to get that bad taste out of their mouth because they only won 1 game at home so far, kind of getting back on the right foot. So I think it's a big game from Fred VanVleet, absolutely. Let's go Pels and let's go Timberwolves up next. So the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. This line opened, let's see if I can find my notes. This line opened at the Pelicans laying, I think they were 7.5-point favorites. No, they were 5-point favorites. The line went up to, I know I saw this line touch 7. Now it's come back down to 6. Total come down from 223.5 down to 222. We know that the Pelicans played last night. They did smoke. They absolutely smoked that game was over before it started yesterday. I think they had I heard Frank Isola say that they were up by 20 points for 40 minutes in that game. So their starters, I say all that to say that their starters did not need to play big minutes at all. Real quick, I just want to check that real quick because I still forgot to go look at it. Let me just look at that real quick because I do want to make sure. All right, so yeah, none of the starters played more than 25 minutes. Zion played 25 minutes yesterday. Everybody else played under 25 minutes. Zion didn't even have a big game. He had 10 points, 4 turnovers, 5 assists, 3 fouls, and 3 rebounds. So Timberwolves at the crib. It's tough, man. This team has regressed just a tad bit, though. They have not been playing as well. They just smoked my money when I took them against the Knicks in that last game, and it's really been their defense. They have these defensive lapses in games. They haven't really been covering spreads. They should have lost the game to the Lakers, but they ended up winning. That was the game that LeBron James' foot was on the line for 3. Didn't cover that game. Didn't cover against Dallas. We was on them in that game. We were on, what were we on? I think we was on Denver, Dallas team total to go under. They gave up 118 points without Luka, and Dallas was on the second leg of a back-to-back. OKC smoked them as well. So it could be a get-right spot. I will say this. The Timberwolves are 7-0 straight up off a loss this season. So typically they bounce back. We know that they're one of the best home teams, but they have kind of regressed just a tad bit. This is one standalone home game, and they go back on the road on Friday to take on the Houston Rockets. They got a big game against the Dallas Mavericks. Then they go to Orlando, so they actually head head southeast when they come to Orlando on the 9th. So looking at the game, I initially wanted to get there with the Timberwolves, but thinking about the game a little bit more, I think the Pelicans can come in and keep this game close. The Timberwolves numbers kind of scare me a tad bit. This team is at home when they have more rest than their opponent. They're 5-0 to the under, and I do kind of like the under as well. They're 5-0 when they have more rest than their opponent at home. They also are 5-0 when they. They're also 4-1-1 to the under at home when they are playing an unrested opponent as well. So I see the Pelicans have been really, really strong defensively. Timberwolves should want to put their best foot forward here because of how they played against the Knicks, just not bringing their best game. Now you come home, you probably get a day or two to kind of work through things. So I could kind of see this game going both ways. If I had to play it, if I had to put my money on one side, I'd be taking the Pelicans plus the points, though. I do feel like they can kind of keep this game close. This is a revenge spot because the Pelicans did beat this team earlier, and that game was played on December 11th. They beat them 121-107 in that spot. New Orleans was laying 4 at the crib. So the Pelicans have looked good, man, ever since their in-season tournament loss. They've actually been at the crib since their in-season tournament loss as well. This team has not really had to travel much at all. So I it's tough, man. I do kind of lean with the Pelicans in this spot. I think that they can cover. I think the spread being 6 is a tad bit too much. I could see them, potentially losing the game by 3 or 4 points, keeping it respectful within a possession or two. Let's see what else we liking in this one. OG Wham says he likes the Hawks first half. -110 is his best bet. Appreciate you for tapping in, Wham. My God. David says Sengun under his points. Claxton ain't weak, and this game might be over by halftime. I think, David, if they're gonna have success, Sengun could be a part of that. I looked at his numbers against Claxton. I just didn't bring it up because nothing really stood out. But he does have I want to say 20-point games in back-to-back meetings versus this same Brooklyn Nets defense. So to me, without Dillon Brooks being there, the offense kind of runs through Sengun and Fred VanVleet. One of those guys are touching the ball every single time and kind of initiating the offense, whether it's Sengun at the high post or he's catching it on the block. I would be a little slow to face Sengun under his points. This dude been balling right now, but don't let me talk you off. Do not let me talk you off. I don't know if I'd take Sengun under his points prop though. The B says, "What's up, Chris? Cash that Sixers first half easy yesterday. I'm glad you took it. I made no money on the Sixers yesterday." Leroy reminding everybody that Middleton is expected to play tonight. You still like the under? Yeah, I still like the under. He got expected to play and the total didn't move. So I do think it's gonna go under. Absolutely. Locked and Loaded says he likes Wolves -6.5 official. They want to get that bad taste out of their mouth. They can get the bad taste out of their mouth though, Locked and Loaded, without covering the 7. Pelicans on the road have not been too bad of a team, especially when they have a full roster. I think this Pelicans team is clicking right now. Zion actually came out after the Lakers game and said that may have been the best thing that could have happened, was them getting smoked like they did, in Vegas. He said that was a blessing in disguise for us. It'll really allow the team to kind of wake up, and I think it kind of, got them to bond. We'll see what happens on the road. The Timberwolves are not necessarily a fade, but they haven't been covering all the spreads at the crib. They have not. Tasha likes Jakob Poeltl rebounds. We haven't gotten to that game yet. Michael says he likes the Timberwolves first quarter and first half. Timberwolves have been the best third quarter team in the league. They have regressed just a tad bit. They got smoked in the third quarter the other day against the Knicks. They also got smoked in the third quarter in that last home game as well. So not something I've been playing. They've kind of regressed just a tad bit. We got some love for Vucevic double-double. And Tasha likes Jonas Valanciunas over his points prop in this game versus Rudy Gobert. Kilo Santiago says, can you look at Anthony Edwards threes versus Herb Jones? 7 for 7. Last games against him over 2.5. So some love for Anthony Edwards threes. And it's been balling. It hasn't been his fault that their offenses look like trash. It's Cat driving to the goal, getting charges, and doing all this flicky stuff that he be doing. It cost me money in the last game. Cat looked terrible, and his dad was there. He was right up the street from where he played at. Don't get me started. I'm not gonna talk about it. Let's see. Vaughn said he wanted to get there with Giannis, but his numbers are inflated. Yeah, they absolutely are. All right, let's keep going. We got a few more games to get through, and I'm trying to get through them all. Raptors and Grizzlies. Not a game I have a super strong feel on. I'll give you guys my notes real quick. Raptors and the Grizzlies. Let me take a sip of water while I'm trying to find my notes. So the Raptors are kind of infused. You can say they're kind of infused with a little bit of energy right now. Getting RJ Barrett, getting Emmanuel quickly. They look good at home. Not necessarily don't know what they're going to look like on the road. Toronto on the road for the season, just 4-11, 7-8 against the spread. This team religiously comes out and chokes leads away and struggles to score the ball. Maybe RJ, Emmanuel quickly kind of help them with that. We haven't had a big enough sample to kind of see what that looks like. They did beat the Pelicans. They did beat the Cavs. They covered that game by half a point. They were 2.5-point favorites, won that game by 3. Memphis has not been impressive, though. I will tell you guys this. I bet on Memphis, and for my members, y'all know I was heavy on Memphis on New Year's Eve when they were playing against the Sacramento Kings. They got smoked. They can't rebound the basketball. They're giving up 20 rebounds per game to the center position over the last 5 games, which is the most in the league. More than the Washington Wizards are giving up. Just 3-12 at home. They didn't cover yesterday against the San Antonio Spurs. They were laying 11, only won that game by 8. They're 4-11 against the spread. And it's really been their offense, which is kind of crazy because everybody's back. Luke Kennard's back. Derrick Rose is out there. It's kind of crazy. I kind of leaned towards the under yesterday against the Spurs because I knew the Spurs couldn't score, but I thought the Pelicans might the Spurs might push the Pelicans to play a little faster. That game, if you took the under, it wasn't even a sweat in that game. Memphis offense just really can't score the ball. And it's kind of shocking that they struggle to score the ball so much with Desmond Bane and how they were scoring the ball early when Ja Morant first came back against the Pelicans in those first 2 games. So I say all that to say this. I don't have a strong feel in this game. Memphis, this is, I want to say, 3rd game in 4 nights as well. And I want to say it's their 5th game in 8 days. It's not a great spot for them, even though they didn't have to travel. It is the second leg of a back-to-back. Like I said, they had to fight hard yesterday. Toronto still got some scrappy defenders. I think if I'm looking at the game, I'm thinking that with the spread being so small, I could only look towards the Grizzlies. I'm sorry, I'm not playing the Grizzlies. I told myself when they lost me money over the weekend that I was going to be off of this team. I just kind of wanted to watch them and see what happened over the next couple games. Definitely couldn't lay 11 with them against the Spurs last night either, and glad I stayed off that spot. But I'm looking towards the under. They've gone under in 3 straight games. Toronto, I don't necessarily believe in their offense, specifically on the road. They did go to Detroit and score 127 points, but that's pretty much what anybody can do. Boston, same thing. That game, Boston was on the second leg of that back-to-back after struggling against Detroit, and it was their second game back home. So they did score 118. We were on their team total in that spot. I just kind of feel like this total is a tad bit too inflated. Memphis is going to struggle to score, in my opinion. Toronto should play defense. Both of these teams are really, really slow. I want to say Memphis is I talked about it yesterday. They're the worst offensive rated team, even worse than the Spurs last 5 games. And they only scored a little bit over 100 points yesterday. So I do like the under in this spot. I think that they'll have to slow this Raptors team down. And I think they got the bodies to do that. So if they're gonna keep the game close, I do think it goes. I think it goes under. So that will be my top play in this game. Real quick with the comments. Let's see. SK says he likes quickly over 6.5 rebounds at -120. Had 9 in the last game in 28 minutes with foul trouble. Very sneaky rebounder. And Memphis gives up the most rebounds to the point guard position. 7 to the point guard position. Also like him to dish out more as a starter. Okay, I couldn't talk you off. Coop says he's rolling the dice with quickly over 15.5 points, going off opportunity and volume. So far this season, when quickly gets 25 minutes, he averages 19.1. I don't think that's a bad look at all, Coop. I think when you look at, a team to score against Memphis, it's typically been guards. They don't give up a lot of points to big men. Jared Jackson Jr. does a pretty good job. Bismack Biyombo, same thing. So I could not talk you off of that at all. Richie says Barnes 2.5 threes, Chris. It could be in play. Memphis does not do a good job of defending the 3-point line. I couldn't talk you off of that look at all. Over 1.5 threes. Yeah, I could not talk you off, especially depending on the value that you get there. Tasha says, Chris, what do you think about Grizzlies team total under 113.5? I would have to do a little bit more research on that, Tasha. I will say, I think if you like the total under, you just take the full game under. I don't necessarily think the Raptors going to score a lot of points tonight. Especially if RJ Barrett gets the clanking up shots and quickly gets in foul trouble early. Like quickly is one of those players, man. He can go crazy or he can get you 3 points, 1 for 7 shooting and be sitting on the bench on the pond somewhere. So I don't have the strongest feel on the side, like I said, but I do lean towards the under. Let's keep going. We got Blazers, we got Mavs. So Blazers and the Mavs. I don't have a lot of notes on this game either. Not a game. I won't spend too much time on this game. Not a game I'm super interested in. Injury report wise, looking at this Blazers team, Aiden is still out. Kamara is listed as questionable. Anthony Simons listed as questionable. I'm not sure if those guys are going to play. Dante Exum did get ruled out as well. The Mavs got smoked, and I talked about it. I told the members, I don't know if people played it or not, but I told the members to take the Utah Jazz in that last game after Dallas had beat them by 50 the last time they had played earlier this season. Portland's not a team I necessarily want to go near right now. They did get smoked in the last game by 11, so that's why you see the line come all the way up to 12 in this spot. They were 4.5-point favorites. This game was played less than 2 weeks ago, well, a little over 2 weeks ago. And that was without Kyrie. Kyrie did get a game to kind of knock some dust off. He didn't play necessarily poorly in the game against the Jazz either. Looking at Portland, second straight road game. This is the first of one of those little back-to-backs. These two teams play again against each other on Friday. That game will still be in Dallas as well. The spot for Dallas doesn't necessarily favor them too much. This will be their first game back home after a 3-game road trip. They have been playing everywhere. This team has been playing a lot of games and been playing everywhere. And I want to say that was one of the things that kind of popped up. So since Christmas Day, it's been today 5 plus 6, 7, 8. So it's been 9 days since Christmas. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Day is the 3rd, right? So 9 games since it's been 9 days since Christmas. This team has played 6 games in 9 days. So that's another spot where I don't necessarily like laying the points. But am I backing the Blazers? Absolutely not. I don't trust this Blazers team. This Blazers team just got smoked against Phoenix. And they lost to the San Antonio Spurs when Victor Wembanyama played as well. So Dallas can actually do whatever they want to in this game, I believe. And maybe a team total over for Dallas. I don't believe in Portland's defense. But I didn't feel comfortable in this game. Like taking the points, laying the points, the total, nothing. So I didn't play anything in this game. Archie says Luka over 9.5 assists. Same for under 7.5 assists. Dame for under 7.5 assists. I'm like, this don't make sense. I don't have a strong feel on either. I know my guy Munoz is on Luka over his 9.5 assists. He likes the spot with Kyrie being back, so Luka doesn't have to do as much. And I couldn't talk you off taking Luka over. Dude's been killing. He should get less minutes with Kyrie being back. This game could also be a blowout, but Luka typically gets his numbers, even if he only plays 25 to 30 minutes. So I couldn't talk you off. Tasha says too many points staying away for her, and I think 12 is a pretty massive spread for sure. Let's keep going. We got a couple more games to get through. We got 4 more games to get through. Matter of fact, Pistons and the Jazz. I actually like this one and probably should have jumped on it a little early Didn't play it, but I do like this spot. It's crazy to think you like laying this many points with the Utah Jazz, but I kind of like the spot for the Jazz here. I looked at this game. The line actually was at 7 last night. I probably should have just pulled the trigger there, but even laying 7 points felt like it was too many. The Pistons, we just faded the Pistons correctly, even though they didn't cover. They did cover the first quarter and the first half in that spot. They're back to their regular, doing what they do. They're 1-16 straight up on the road. They are 7-10 against the spread, but just 3-20, 3-30 overall. They've only covered 4 of their last 10 spreads. This Jazz team is actually heating up. 10-5 at the crib, 12-3 against the crib against the spread. Not even as a dog. And 8-2 in their last 10 games. I talked about it the other day. I said this team is getting healthy. We see Jordan Clarkson come out, get a triple-double. They didn't have to travel at all. This is their third straight home game. They do go on the road and play in Boston coming up on Friday. But for Detroit, second game of a 4-game road trip. They play in Golden State on Friday. They got absolutely smoked. Lost that game by 23 points when they were catching 9 points as a dog. I think if you like this game, honestly, I think you just take the Jazz team total to go over. I think that's the best play. You stay away from the spread. The Jazz, I will say this, and a lot of people don't like taking the Jazz. Like, I understand you don't want to lay too many points with the Jazz because they're literally not that great, but they've been balling. I just kind of gave you guys the numbers. And here's some more support. So the Jazz are their biggest line so far this season. Like, the biggest amount of points that they've had to lay is 6.5. And they actually covered that. They're winning those games when they're favorites by 15 points. They're 3-0 as a home favorite against the spread. Detroit, 0-3 straight up and against the spread as a road dog in the non-conference game. So their last game was a road dog. They were road dogs in the non-conference game. They're losing those games by average of 15 points. So one trend says the Jazz win home games by 15 points or more when they're favorite. The other trend says that when the Rockets are a non-conference road dog, they lose by 15 points. So this one could really, really get out of hand. I think the team total is, maybe a little bit, easier play here because I think the Jazz can score as many points as they want. You go through and look, just last note, go through and look at Detroit. They gave up 136 against Houston. Houston doesn't even score 136 points. You give up 136 against Houston. Houston also don't even play at a fast pace. You give up 136 to Houston, 127 to Toronto, even though you did win that game. Boston scored 128. Brooklyn 118, 126 to Brooklyn. Their defense is just really, really bad. And that's even with getting Jalen Duren back. So those are my thoughts. It's really, really difficult to bet a prop for the Jazz just because Will Hardy does a lot of things with his rotation. He mixes it up a lot. He got a lot of guys that can come in there and score. Jordan Clarkson got a triple-double off the bench in the last game. We know Colin Sexton and Chris Dunn has been starting at the guard position. Lauri Markkanen can eat when he wants to eat. Walker Kessler can get a double-double. So Fontecchio was hitting a bunch of threes early in that game against the Dallas Mavericks. Kelly Olynyk can play well. It's really difficult to play a player prop for the Jazz, but you do kind of want to find a spot. I couldn't get there with any of their props when everybody's healthy because he's going to distribute the minutes really, really well. Let's see. Daniel says the guards are still smacking their assists. Cade is off 2 double-doubles and 9 assists. What do we do with that? He says, do with that what you will. Yeah, I like it. I like Cade actually on his rebounds plus assists. We won't gonna really talk about it too much because I got too many notes for these other games that I'm trying to get to. But I think Cade rebounds plus assists at 12.5 is a good look, Daniel, and it correlates with what you're seeing. Jazz still allowed 10.5 assists to the point guard position on the season. Last 5 games, they're actually giving up. The Jazz are giving up 7.5 rebounds to the point guard position, which is the 4th most. Cade has been on the tear. He's over his rebounds and assist number in 4 of his last 6, playing at least 33 minutes in those games. I think Monty understands that in order for them to be successful, Cade has to play at least 35 minutes. He's super young. Why not keep him out there? In his last 5 games, he's averaging 7.3 assists, 12.7 potential assists, and 8.3 rebound chances. So I like Cade on the rebounds plus assist line as well. Just kind of wanted to piggyback up what you were saying, Daniel. I wasn't even going to mention that. Michael reminding everybody to hit the like button. He says, ladies and gents, hit the like button. Locke says also wanted to add Minnesota is 13-0 against the spread since October 22 in a regular season, facing a team on a 3-game winning streak. Ooh, I like that. He says he also took the Mavs minus 11.5. They're getting healthy, and he likes them off a loss. Yeah, maybe first half. Maybe they just blow them out in the first half, Locked, and you don't have to necessarily worry about the backdoor cover. I could definitely see that happening. Big Mar says he likes Duren double-double. Duren double-double was super juice. I looked at it On FanDuel, I think it was like minus 210. On DraftKings, I want to say it was like minus 155. No play on Larry for me. Best of luck there. All right, cool. Let's keep going. We got a few more games to get to. Next one, Clippers and the Suns. I swear I don't feel like I've been talking for an hour. I'm already up to an hour. Clippers and the Suns. My favorite game on the board. I actually gave this out last night before the line moved. The line is up to 4 now. So this actually opened at 2.5. When I saw it at 2.5, I think it opened, a little bit shorter than that. But Kevin Durant ended up getting ruled out yesterday. And I love the spot right here for the Clippers. I think that they're the much better team without Kevin Durant in, first and foremost. The Suns are, I want to say, 4-1, straight up and against the spread without Kevin Durant this season. But I think they run out of. I wouldn't necessarily say run out of gas. I do think it is a big rest advantage in this spot. And the Clippers, to me, they're just in current form, they're a much better team. I think that's what it really comes down to. And I've seen this Clippers team, I've seen this Suns team without one of their guys, whether before Bradley Beal came back like a week ago, Devin Booker sits a game, Kevin Durant sits a game. They look like a shell of themselves. What I think I've learned about this Clippers team is that if they're not fully healthy, it's really, really hard to trust them. And that's when they have letdowns. We see them get smoked on Christmas Day to Luka. And I would argue right now that this Clippers team is better than the Dallas team, in my estimation. The Clippers are healthy. PG is playing. Kawhi is playing. Zubac is playing. We know that the Clippers are a top 5 defensive team. I think the Suns really, really going to struggle in this spot. There's also the other thing that I looked at. I talked about it just a tad bit, but it's not a good spot for the Suns. This team has had to play. So the other thing is this: the Suns don't play well at home. They're only 9-9 straight up at home, 6-13 against the spread at home. So for whatever reason, they haven't been playing well. They're also just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games, whereas the Clippers 7-3 against the spread. I think they're the more rested team in this spot as well. Let me just check that real quick. I know they're much since Christmas. They're a much more rested team. Clippers. Let's start with the Suns. So the Suns played on Christmas Day. They played the Dallas Mavericks. 2 days later, they had to go to Houston. 2 days later, they had to play Charlotte at home. 2 days later, they had to play Orlando at home. Back to back, they had to play Portland at home. So this game will be the 3rd game in 4 nights for them. This game will also be the 4th game in 6 nights for them. This game will also be the 6th game overall in their last 9 days as well. So let me just do the math real quick again, because I want to say I wrote it down. 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So in the last 10 days, this will be their 6th game in 10 days for this Phoenix team. That's a little bit old too. The Clippers, on the other hand, they didn't have a Christmas Day game. They've actually only played 3 games since Christmas. So you get a much more rested team. They're 3-0 against the spread, 3-0 straight up in the last 3 games. You can't really count the non-cover against Charlotte because they never cover against teams that they're supposed to cover that have a 45% losing percentage or lower. Really, really great defensive team. Last 3 games have gone under as well. And they're winning by margin. So I really, really like the Suns in this. Also, the other biggest part is the playoff revenge. We know what happened last year when these teams got together. Phoenix lost last year in the playoffs. The Clippers actually won. What did they win? They won the first 2 games, I want to say. They won the first 2 games and then lost 4 in a row after Kawhi went down and then PG went down. So you got the playoff revenge in there as well. I absolutely love the Clippers tonight. I played them on the money line last night at minus 140 when I gave it out. I also played them on the spread. It was 2.5 at the time. It's up to 4. I think the 4 is still good money as well. I think the Suns lose this game probably by close to double digits. Those are just my thoughts. Let's see what you guys say here. And I didn't play any player props. I just like that way more than anything else. Vaughn says they're with Ivy tonight. Minutes are up and have been consistent. Played the PRA. I think that could be a really, really good look, Vaughn. I talk about Ivy getting the minutes. If Ivy gets the minutes, he typically performs. I couldn't talk you off of that at all. David says 220 people, 225 people in here, and not even 100 likes. If y'all don't stop playing, Chris, we're not sharing love this year. Laugh out loud. No more comments being read unless they're members. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice to get some more likes. That'd be cool. But if not, it's all good. I appreciate you looking out for me though, David. Vaughn says if you build during double on DraftKings, you can get it at -130. That's what you watch the show for right there. He definitely should get one. It'll be a little bit difficult because the Jazz aren't necessarily the worst rebounding team. Like with Walker Kessler down there, Laurie Mark is a pretty good rebounder. But Duren is a 19-year-old man child, for people who don't know. Markel says he liked the Clips to alt line -7. Okay. I think that they can win the game by 7, though. Young Harlow says Bruce Brown is starting. I was wondering why Rick Carlisle said he wasn't playing. So he is playing? I didn't see that. He's starting to? Nemhart ruled out, Bruce Brown available to play. Yeah. That's I wonder what that did to the spread. Kyle says you like the 4. I do like the 4. I like the 4. I don't think it's going to be a 1 or 2 possession game. I think the Suns kind of dip off. I know that they've been playing really, really well, but I think they dip off in this spot. They've won 4 straight. But they did fail to cover, and they still been struggling to score. They didn't need to score as many points, but they only scored 109 against Portland and 112 against Orlando. Orlando gave up 130 last night to Golden State. So yeah, I'm not completely sold on Phoenix yet, and I'm way more sold on the Clippers. Clippers are balling right now. Not too many teams I would fade them against, especially in the spot that they're in. Like I said, much more rested. I noticed their first road game off a 4-game homestand, but I think it's a really, really good spot for the Clippers in this one. And that's the way I chose to play it. Both these teams last played on Monday. Well, I'm sorry, on Tuesday. So those are my thoughts there. Let's keep going. Let's go to the next game. Tasha says Clippers her favorite pick tonight as well. Hopefully we cash it, Tasha. Young DJ says Duren double in the Jazz money line for plus money. Cannot talk you off of that. Will W says he says liked. Really appreciate and look forward to your analysis. I appreciate that as well. We'll appreciate you tapping in with me. Let's get through these last couple games. So Heat and the Lakers. My Los Angeles Lakers versus the Miami Heat. I talked about not wanting to fade Miami in that last game against the Clippers because I thought 7.5 points was too many. It wasn't. They got smoked in that game. Miami is 10-8 on the road and 10-8 against the spread. So straight up and against the spread. They have reverted back a little bit to the mean. They're just 5-5 against the spread in their last 10 games. But the Lakers also just, it's been a really bad travel spot for them in their last few games. They are 12-4 straight up at the crib, but they're only 6-8 against the spread at home. And they've only covered 4 of their last 10 spreads. These two teams did play earlier this season. The Lakers were getting 1.5 points. They did cover the spread. I think we were on the Lakers in that game, and we covered by 0.5 point. Miami won that game 108 to 107. Injury report for this one: Jimmy Butler is already listed as out. Caleb Martin is listed as doubtful. Josh Richardson listed as questionable. So a lot of things going on. Highsmith also continues to be out. A lot of things going on for the Miami side. Also, a lot of things going on for the Lakers side. D'Angelo Russell out. Rui Hachimura out. Cam Reddish probable. He looks like he's going to return. And then LeBron James listed as questionable. And Anthony Davis listed as probable. Those guys are always going to be in the injury report. Probably until who knows. But I think, with the total going up in this one, I think it's going to be more of a defensive game. 228.5, I feel like is a lot of points. The game earlier this season was 223. That was played on November the 6th, and that game it was only 215 points scored in that game. I talked about how Miami plays at a pretty slow pace, and they are one of I think they're still the best defensive team on the road as far as allowing points. So I think they could slow this Laker team down. The Lakers also just don't shoot the ball well. Like, it's not like the Lakers are, this big over team. At home, they typically go under. On the road, they typically go over. But they don't score a lot of points. They played the Knicks at home in one of their last 10 games. That game went under 236. Boston game did go over, but that was just because Boston was shooting the ball so well. So I think I'm definitely not laying 5.5 with the Lakers, even though this Miami team is pretty injury riddled. The Lakers are as well. Rui Hachimura not being there, D'Angelo Russell just rushes, probably Austin Reeves into the starting lineup, which takes away from, the Lakers any kind of depth. I really, really like Max Christie a lot, but he's not as polished offensively. Defensively, he's a really good player, but not offensively. So I don't want to lay 5.5 with the Lakers in this spot. I think this is a spot where the Lakers could win, but Miami could definitely cover. So those are my thoughts in this game. I didn't play anything. I do think the best look is the under 228.5, though. I think the Lakers could probably want to get back to playing a little bit more defense. And at home, they typically play better defense than they do on the road. Also, off back-to-back losses to the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. So they should be motivated to play a little bit more defense in this spot. Player prop-wise, I think Bam could bring AD away from the rim. And, those guys that can play in the mid-range typically are the ones that give AD the most trouble. So I could see, a guy like Bam having a really good game today against Anthony Davis. That is something that I see. Didn't play it, but those are my thoughts on this game. Let's see. In the last game, Bam had 22 points and 19 rebounds and 10 assists against the Lakers. So maybe just looking at that, looking at Bam. Let's see. Kevin Buck says Adebayo 11 rebounds. He could get there. He had 19 in the last game. Over, I don't like. Yeah, over. I would take that. Akbar says Clippers team total a nice look too, in his opinion. Yeah, I could see that. That says Chris and I are about to fight. Now we're not gonna fight. I don't really like the Lakers tonight. I think that they can win, but I don't necessarily think they're gonna cover. Hobby Noble says he's taking AD under 30 points. Spo is a genius. Slow down the center and stars. So much feels a tad bit high. So I couldn't talk you off of that. What 80 points sitting at 29.5? That's interesting if it is. S-Dot coming in with some officials. He likes the Heat first half. That's been a cash cow recently. Could not talk you off. They play their best basketball in the first half. He likes Hero to over his 23.5 points. AD under 30. So somebody else on AD under. In the game under 228.5. I like that under. S-Dot. Best of luck to you tonight, my brother. DJ Prop says favorite player today, Austin Reeves, 26.5. He's going over on his points, rebounds, and assists. He says he needs to step up. He says he will be needed without D'Lo. And he will respond to DeMarcus Cousins saying he shouldn't have led Team USA in FIBA. I didn't even see that quote, DJ Props. Okay. S-Dot says don't want to say aside due to all of our injuries, but I can still see the Heat doing their job. I won't be forcing anything like I usually do. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off, S-Dot. I'm the same way. The Lakers are going to look a little bit different without Rui Hachimura and without D'Angelo Russell in this game as well, which is why I kind of lean towards the under. Eric, reminding everybody to hit the like button. Please do if you guys are enjoying the show and the content. S-Dot says Bam double-double for sure. He's looking to prove he's defensive player against other candidates. That makes a lot of sense to me, S-Dot. Yeah, he's going to get up for this game too. Heat is dogs, always kind of scary in my estimation. Last time they were dogs, not against the Clippers because the Clippers are really good. But they did go to Golden State not too long ago, and they probably are a little acclimated as well to the West Coast because they've been over there for 3 or 4 games now. So couldn't talk anybody off that. Last game on the board is the Magic and the Kings. This line opened at the Kings laying 2 points, and since then they've come up to 5. It's actually coming back down to 4.5 on some books. Total opened at 232.5. It's down to 231. It's interesting, man. 2 of the most untrustworthy teams most recently in the NBA. First thing I looked at when I saw this game was I said, let me see how home favorites do that lost outright as a 15-point favorite or more when they're playing with no rest and they're also a home favorite again. It actually never came up. The Sacramento Kings are the first team in NBA history to be 15-point favorites or more, play with no rest, and be a home favorite again. So they didn't have to travel at all. So I just wanted to kind of see what that spot looked like. Orlando has not been good recently. They're just 3-7 against the spread. And they're 3-7 straight up. 7-10 against 7-10 straight up on the road as well. 5-5 against the spread, 10-7 against the spread on the road. The Kings, this team is so inconsistent. I have no idea what to do with them. I'll tell you guys this: the last couple times they've been laying points, you typically want to fade them. They are 11-6 at the crib, but they're just 8-9. They don't cover numbers at the crib. 5-5 against the spread. It was crazy what Charlotte was able to do to them. Charlotte was in the worst possible spot ever. They won the last game of like a 6-game road trip, second leg of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, fifth game in 8 nights, and they still beat this team last night. You see Sacramento just turn the ball over left and right. And I was expecting Sacramento to play like that against Memphis the other day, and they came out absolutely and smoked them. So I don't really know what to do with Sacramento. Head-to-head, Sacramento has played this team really, really well. When you go back and look at the numbers, they've won 4 in a row. They've covered 3 out of the last 4 as well. Orlando not playing well on this West Coast road trip. They started in Phoenix, lost that game by 5, covered by 1 point because they were catching 6, and then go to Golden State last night, give up 121 points because they can't stop turning the ball over. They turned the ball over left and right in that game, and it came back to bite them. How many turnovers did they have? They ended up with 17 turnovers last night. Paulo Banchero had 4, Franz Wagner had 4, Jalen Suggs had 4. So these are all your starters as well. And Golden State's not even a team that forces a lot of turnovers. The spot says that the Kings actually win and cover this number. But I can't get in now because I feel like if I wanted to get in with the Kings, especially with how inconsistent they are, I feel like I would have to play them, at the earlier line. I don't even think I realized that this line opened at 2. I don't think I really looked into the game too much last night. But it is a King spot. Here's the reason why. Because this is another game where if you go back and do the math, since the 26th, so the Magic didn't play on Christmas, but they play after Christmas. They play in Washington. They came home. They had a back-to-back. They got smoked by Philly in that game, lost by 12. Then they played the Knicks. They beat the Knicks 2 days later. 2 days later, they go to Phoenix. 2 days later, they go to Golden State. So this team's been traveling all over the place. This is the 3rd game in 4 nights, second leg of a back-to-back. Also, another team that's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be their 6th game in 9 nights. You do not necessarily want to play that team. So the creator I looked at was, and this also goes into play for the Nets earlier as well. When you're looking at these teams that's in these really, really bad rest disadvantage spots, especially for the Kings, because the Kings didn't have to travel anywhere. They played like trash, but they went home, slept in their own bed, got up this morning, drove to the same arena, had shoot around, went back home, and now they're going, no travel at all. Those unrested road dogs are 3-24 straight up, 8-9 against the spread, 70.4% fade of the Magic here in this spot. It's the same thing for the Nets. The Nets are in the same exact spot tonight. And both teams are road dogs in non-conference games. So it says the Kings should win. Orlando has a day off tomorrow, but they'll be flying to Denver tonight after this game. And Sacramento will be still at home. They actually play Toronto. And after that, they got the Pelicans. So they'll be at home. This is the 2nd game back home for them. And they still got 2 more home games after this. So spot play for Sacramento. It's probably one of the ones that you just, close your eyes and, hit the button and, just kind of go to sleep, wake up in the morning and hope that the cash is in your account. But I couldn't get there. I couldn't get there. Let me see what y'all are on in this spot. Back to the chat. Go Young DJ says LeBron been trying to take over. Probably will score 30 tonight. Dwight says Bam had a triple-double last time against the Lakers. Yep. David Hamilton says just came to like and comment. Let's get it. Appreciate that, David. Best of luck tonight on all your action as well. Coop likes Orlando plus the 4.5. He says it's tempting, but I know Kings are coming off an embarrassing loss. They typically bounce back, man. I'll tell you guys this. So last night, Sacramento was laying 15.5. They lost their game outright. As 1-point dogs against Memphis, won the game by 23 points. Smoked Memphis. The game was over with in the first quarter. And I was on Memphis. Felt like an idiot. I was on Memphis in that game. Against Atlanta, they were laying 1, won the game by 6. But remember, before the Atlanta game, they were in Portland. They were 8.5-point dogs in a game where Portland really didn't have anybody. 8.5-point favorites, my fault. They lose that game by 17 points. Super hard team to predict on a night-to-night basis. I think they bounce back, but I'm not putting my money on it. I'm definitely not putting my money on it. They're not physical enough of a team. And if Orlando doesn't turn the ball over, I honestly think that these teams match up really, really well, and it could be a 1-possession game. So Spot tells me to take Sacramento, but I can't do it. Let's see. PG over his points. J Props likes. Bryce likes the Kings and the Lakers on the money line parlay. He says wouldn't be surprised if neither team covers, but I think both of them win. The Kings and the Lakers. I could see that. I could definitely see that, Bryce. I might put together a money line parlay, give it out to the members later, but I didn't play any money line parlays. There's a couple of teams that I like for sure, but didn't play anyone. Isaac says, which team will win, Clippers or Suns? You must have just got here, Isaac. I love the Suns. I love the Clippers tonight. I played the Clippers -2.5 last night, gave it out to the members, and played them on the money line -140. LA says Orlando team total over 113.5. The only reason I don't like Orlando team total LA is because this could be a spot where they kind of run out of gas. This could be an under game just because both teams could kind of run out of gas. Michael says, what do you think about the over in the Magic game? I just kind of talked about it. I think it could go under. I want to say Sacramento this season on the second leg of a back-to-back are over. I know the Mets. So this is one thing I looked at yesterday. The Magic as road dogs in non-conference games this season. Yesterday was the first over they had. They were actually 2-1 and 0 to the under. None of their games are actually going over. And the only time Magic games really go over is when they turn the ball over a lot. If you go back and look at any of their games, the game against Brooklyn, both games against Brooklyn earlier this season, when they got smoked in both of those games, they just turned the ball over a lot because their defense is really good. Their transition defense is really bad. So when they turn the ball over, teams are getting layups left and right. And that's really the Magic don't score a lot. They only scoring 106 points per game on the road when they're a dog in non-conference games. And we know the Kings defense is not that good. So I actually lean towards the under. I think also looking at the Kings without rest this season, they are also 3-1 to the under. And they get smoked in this spot. 0-4 against the spread, 0-4 straight up, losing by an average of 21 points per game. Wow. They lost to the Pelicans on the second leg of a back-to-back, the Clippers twice on the second leg of a back-to-back, and the Timberwolves. So they've been playing some really good Western Conference playoff teams in this spot. Not a good spot at all. And if they're only going to score 101 points, I definitely think this game goes under. So I do lean towards the under. The total is coming down, and those are my thoughts on the game. Estai likes Orlando in the first half. He says if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Still think the Kings win, though. We'll see. I don't have a strong take on the game at all. But let's just go through what I did play. Excuse me. And then we get up off it, man. It's 6:30. I didn't realize it was so late. I've been talking for a long time. So what I played was Jalen Jackson of the Raptors, of the Atlanta Hawks, double at +135 on FanDuel earlier. My favorite player prop of the day. The Clippers -2.5. I do like the 4. Also laid the money line with the Clippers last night at -140. Excuse me. And I also played Milwaukee and Indiana under 257.5 on BetMGM. Let's see if that total went back up. That's crazy. They said Chris Middleton was going to play. The total didn't even move. So, yeah, I like the total to go under. Those are my top 4 plays for today. I gave them all to you guys. Went through and did a breakdown of all of them as well. Clippers on the money line, Clippers on the spread, Indiana and Milwaukee under 257.5, and Jalen Jackson double for me. Also, just real quick, I want to mention this real quick. I mentioned the Atlanta Hawks in the Oklahoma City Thunder game. If you want to stay away from the game, I do think you could just play the team total to go over. I talked about the Hawks being in home games, real close home games, so 3-point dogs, 3-point favorites, with the line is between the 3. They're 7-1 to the over in that spot. So I do like the over for you can just play if you play the Atlanta Hawks to not play defense. It's something that they haven't been doing throughout the whole season. If you play them not to play defense, if you think that they're not going to play defense, you can stay off the spread and just take OKC on the points to go over. I do think that their points are going to go over in this spot. Like I said, OKC is 3-0 to the over on the second leg of a back-to-back this season. Atlanta 7-1 to the over when they're in a home game where the spread is them either getting 3 points or laying 3 points so far this season. So that would be, on my short list. Also on the short list, Washington plus the 9.5. I think the Cavs are laying too many points. I actually lean towards the under in that spot as well. but the Wizards defense is so bad right now, I can't quite get there. They are only scoring 112 points per game in their last 5 games, though. So the Wizards offense have actually regressed just a tad bit. Bucks and Pacers, already talked about that. Not touching Knicks games for the next 2 weeks. Nets and Rockets, I do lean with the Rockets. Didn't quite get there, but I like the Rockets. I also like Fred VanVleet to go over 2.5 threes in that game. Pelicans and Timberwolves, I think the Pelicans can keep it close. I also lean towards the under 222.5. I know that the number is going down, but I think it's a very, very tightly contested defensive game. Rockets and the Grizzlies, no play for me on that one, but do lean towards the under in that game as well, under 229.5 if I had to play there. Blazers and Mavs, nothing. Pistons and Jazz, I do think the Jazz can win this game by double digits. Didn't get there with that. Maybe a Jazz team total would be a lean. And then Heat and Lakers, nothing for me on that game. Magic and Kings, nothing for me on that game as well. So those are my thoughts. That's what I kind of, just kind of looking at the game. Real quick, we're going to get a couple speakers up. I do want to hear from my guys real quick before we get up out of here. If you guys join late, do me a favor at this time and hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the show if you guys haven't. Go ahead and text your friend. Let them know ChrisBeCappinn show is on 5:30, 5 o'clock Eastern every single day. They need to tune in for the winning plays. And let's hear from the guests. Let's go Stephen first and then go Cam second. What's up, Stephen? Talk to me, my brother. Oh, he's still connecting. Cam, what's going on, my brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. What's going on?
We good. Tonight what I'm on is so in the Raptors game, 2 plays. I'm a little upset because I missed the better line, but John Morant double plus 125. It opened out plus 150, and I got bust and it went down quick. John Morant doesn't typically score well against the Raptors. I don't think that's going to change much. I know OG being gone is going to be a big. We're going to see. So OG was the one who typically guarded him, but like we have a lot of. We do a lot of switching on him anyway, and he's always really struggled against scoring. But he gets a lot of assists, and I think it's going to be the same. I think he had 17 assists last time he played this or something crazy. So I really like his double-double. I think he'll look to get the rest of the guys open. We inevitably double him, or the length is a bit too much for him. I know you can dunk on basically anybody, but it's tough when you're dealing with like a Pascal, Scotty consistently, and quickly is a decent point of attack defender as well, which is exactly what Fred was when he was guarding him too. So I like his double-double.
Real quick, Ken, what odds did you get for his double-double?
Plus 125.
Plus 125. So real quick, Ken, I always like to, I know people think I'm coming on here and I'm just like always talking, but this is why I talk about using the OddsJam software so much. John Morant double-double is plus 135 on DraftKings, 130 on FanDuel, 140 on BetMGM, and the best line, if you guys have access to Bet Rivers, which is available in a lot of states, you can get John Morant double-double at plus 160. So always shop around for the best number. And this is what I tell you guys. I'm not just talking. You know what I mean? Like I'm this is what I mean when I say that. As we see Trey Murphy get ruled out. But go ahead, continue, Cam. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that real quick.
Yeah, that's the FanDuel where that I was in a run. But that's good advice. Take that. Everybody, because you get it plus 160, take that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But I really like that play. It's one of my favorite of the night. Then I got Pirtle. I swear Pirtle failed me tonight. That's it. But this would be like 3 guys. Yeah, but I like him a lot tonight to go over his rebounds and assists at 12.5. Now I got it at plus 100 again. I had money on FanDuel still, so I didn't check around. But you could probably it came down when I looked at it. It opened out like plus 105. But basically, what happened with Pirtle, and I want to see if it's real, and I don't want to miss it, is since Precious went over to the Knicks, there's no really backup. There's no weird rotations where he's got to kind of fit Precious in there. And I mean, he had been out of the rotation by the time we moved him, but his minutes have gone up quite a bit in the last few games. He also does decently against Jaren Jackson Jr. He basically hovers around that 12.5 line every time he plays him, and that's in like 26 minutes. So for me, it's about getting the minutes today. I think he can break this line with just rebounds because Jaren Jackson Jr. doesn't rebound well, and he's gone over 14 a few times against Jaren Jackson Jr. in his career. I would stay away from his points, but if you look at his assist numbers as well, over the last 4 games, he's gone over 4 assists each game, and if he gets to 4 assists, I really like that. It's actually 3, 5, and 4. Sorry. If he gets to those assist numbers, though, I really like the over 12.5 rebounds and assists, and that's plus money as well. And then my last play is, I know, like, we're all gonna watch this OKC game and watch them smash them and say we should have taken them. But I actually took OKC. I took a check over it, actually, 3 threes, plus 230. Just go look at the box scores. If you've been watching them play, I've been watching a lot of them. I'm to the point where Chet wasn't a rookie. I might be taking OKC to win the championship the way they're playing. At plus 2,300, like it's just, rookies probably don't show up as well. But over his last 3 games, actually, if you go last 4 or 5, I've hit it a few times playing it, but he's hit this number 4 or 5, and he's shooting lights out. He's shooting over 60% over those games. And if you look at the one thing that's pretty consistent with when he's gone over is who he's playing against, right? So Minnesota, Rudy Gobert, he's not coming out to guard him. He missed against the Knicks, which you would have thought with their ground covered, but that's fine. Denver, who's stepping out? Nobody. Brooklyn, Claxton's not stepping out. And Boston, when you think like Porzingis is decent out there, but still, all these teams that have your traditional bigs, he's just sitting outside the 3-point line and lacing them. So against Atlanta, who have Clint Capella, which we know he's not stepping anywhere near out the paint, and even Neko and Kongwu, who doesn't get enough minutes, I think, to make a difference. I really like that number, and to be plus 230 when you've gone 4 or 5 the last few games, it's I think that's the odds were. I think they're wrong. I think eventually we might start seeing a Chet over 2.5 if he does it again tonight. So I wanted to get in front of that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I really like the Bucks and Pacers line as well. But yeah, I think you said something earlier about Memphis and Toronto. I think tonight is an interesting game for both teams to see exactly where they're at. If Memphis loses tonight, for me, it kind of tells us where they're at, that they're not for real, and they need those big guys. If Toronto wins tonight, I'm going to really be paying close attention to, I think, our team total, because you're right, we haven't been able to score, but the OG trade needs to be looked at as a 2-for-1. Precious and Malachi Flynn were zeros, legit zeros across the board. OG is a perfect fit for the Knicks. I'm not going to diss him at all. I love the guy. I think it's a perfect fit. But if you look at RJ, even if he's a chucker sometimes, giving us 19 and quickly giving us 14 when he was in foul trouble, and you do the math, that's an 18-point differential. That's an 18-point delta, which I'm curious to see if moving forward our team total start going up, because that 18 points, that 10, that 15 that we're going to get, because it was a 2-for-1, might start making a big difference on our team totals, and they might be a bit low for a bit. So just something to watch for.
Yeah, Cam, you said a lot of great things, bro. A lot of great things. I think that the thing that jumps out to me the most, and this was something that one of my guys actually talked to me about and shared this with me as well, because it was something I wasn't too much aware of, but Jakob Poeltl, man, you're just going back to what you said in the beginning. Since that trade that sent Precious Achiuwa to New York, they don't really have a backup big, and you're going to need that against Bismack Biyombo. And we know, when you're thinking about Jakob Poeltl rebounds, he can be a great rebounder at times, and sometimes he can't be, right? But you look at his last 3 games, even before the trade, he had 10 rebounds against Boston in only 22 minutes. Since the trade, he's played 35 minutes. Well, no, the trade didn't happen. Yeah, it did happen before the trade game. So since the trade, 14 rebounds in 35 minutes and 11 rebounds in 37 minutes. I really like that, and I'm probably going to end up getting there as well with Jakob Poeltl over his 9.5 rebounds. While you were talking, I was looking at the best line, and I want to say the best line was on Bet Rivers. It still was minus 115, but this is juiced to minus 130 on a lot of other books. So definitely shop around. Make sure you're getting the best line, because over time you'll end up saving yourself $1 or $2 when you're taking these bets. So really love that line. Best of luck to your Raptors tonight, Cam, and best of luck to you on all your looks as well. Appreciate you sharing the plays, my brother.
Chris Boucher. If anybody's ever seen Chris Boucher, he's about 130 pounds, 6'11", he just shoots 3. So I think the Poeltl rebound line is going to be something to watch moving forward as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go Flo, and let's go pick and pee, and we got to get up off here. The games will be on in a second. What's up, Flo?
I'm doing good. On the train. Sorry, Steph. You think I can jump in? I got one pick.
Go ahead, pick and pee. What you got, bro?
All right. Apologies. It's not how many you bet, it's how many you win.
That's a fact.
That's what I got
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Sorry about that. I'm here to talk about a strategy real quick. I've been DMing you about some, research and things I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm working on right now is, instead of using averages and the mean to make my decision, using the median. So using the middle number or the average of the two middle numbers in a given range. So I'm experimenting right now with Giannis points, under 35 and a half points. In his last 10, he has a high variance, actually. So maybe this wasn't the best person to experiment with. He's had 11 points one game and as much as 64 points 10 games ago. But the number that shows up the most is 32 points. His average for the season right now is 30.8 points. The median number is 31 points. So this is all that plus you are already on the under of 257. We know Pacers have a refocus on defense. We saw the last game they did the Giannis wall, putting three people in front of him and making him into a passer. So I think that will probably continue for better or worse, which gave me the reason to take the under 35 and a half points. Happy New Year. I think this is the last day you can say Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Let's make some cash. Thank you very much, and sorry to cut ahead of you, Steven.
Hey, Pick and P, best of luck, bro. You jumping out on a train for sure, getting in front of Giannis, in front of the Pacers. But I couldn't talk you off, my brother. Your research backs it up, and you play what you love, man. Best of luck to you tonight, and I appreciate you sharing the look. Hey, and don't let people tell you can't say Happy New Year tomorrow, man. You say Happy New Year whenever you want to, bro. What's up, Flo? Talk to me, man. Happy New Year, my guy. We're gonna say it every time.
Real quick, because I know we're trying to get up out of here. I hope everybody's having a happy New Year, healthy holidays. Knicks Bulls tonight. My favorite play of this game is DiVincenzo's threes. I took the ladder. Don't know what the odds are, but it's 2.5, 120, 4, 230, 5 to 600. Biggest thing with this Knicks team, it's one game, but it's such a stark difference. They're finally playing like a team. Like I love Quickly and RJ. You already know how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Rooting for the guy, but no bag. The ball just moves. Like, I love Quickly, but the one thing he was is like he's a ball stopper. Same with RJ, ball stoppers. Now that they don't have like those two, you notice the ball's just flying around the perimeter. The Bulls give up the most three to shooting guards. And they're also giving up the most catch and shoot threes. Like, I watched a lot of that Sixers game yesterday, kind of key in for today. Dante had the 12th most catch and shoot threes last month in December. And the one thing I've noticed is, like, when he's played 23 plus minutes, because he's like 25-ish, he's over the line of 3, 8 of 10, and he has games of 4, 4, 7, 4, and another 7 3-point game. So I love his threes. And my second favorite play, I ain't going to give everything. If you want it, it's all on my page. But I'm going with Jalen Brunson's 8 assists at plus 120. And I went on points bet, and I stacked the 8, 10, 12 for plus 1,100 for the sprinkle. The numbers are remarkable from this one game sample size, but the numbers are remarkable. I want to say, 83 passes made and like 24 potential assists. Like, we've never seen this version of him. And also the fact that now that Quickly's not in there, he's kind of playing more minutes and has to control the ball more until they make this second trade that everyone's expecting them to make. Now, it has a lot of blowout potential, but I just think that when you have a team like Chicago, it's actually a really good defense the last month, but they are giving up a lot of assists to lead ball handlers if you go game by game. I'm going to go on a limb and just say, like, you know what? The ball's been moving. I love the 8 assists. There's also, before Quickly and Barrett were there, like, he was slapping that too, like I would say, like 5 of 10. So much usage with Brunson tonight. Those are the two I like the most of this game. And, go next. Huh?
Hey, that's very well said, Flo. I love the DiVincenzo thing. I hadn't even thought about that, but I know that Finesse came on here yesterday and gave out Kelly Oubre to go over his 1.5 threes, and Dante DiVincenzo is expected to play even more minutes. The Knicks shoot a ton of threes, and the Bulls defense is only going to get worse on the second leg of a back-to-back with travel. So this is a great look. Best odds I see right now for people who want to tell. You can get a minus 140 if you go on DraftKings, but you can also get a minus 120 on ESPN Bet and a minus 120 on BetMGM if you got access to those books. Go save yourself 20 cents, man, and get Dante DiVincenzo over the 2.5 threes. Also, could not talk anybody off floor. I think your analysis was spot on because I watched that whole Timberwolves game as well. And yeah, you guys need Brunson to be out there to make those plays. So I couldn't talk you off. I could see Brunson having a step up game versus, you know, being able to score the ball just because he shot so poorly in the last game. But the assist look, I think, is absolute gold. The Bulls are giving them up to point guards, and they're giving up a ton of threes as well. So love these looks, Flo.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, my brother. Best of luck to you tonight. I love these looks. I think I might tell some of these. I love the Jakob Poeltl look from Cam. I love the Dante DiVincenzo look as well from Stephen, and I like the assist line as well for Jalen Brunson in this spot also. So those are the guests. I appreciate my guests all the time. Everybody who dropped a play, you know, in the comment section on YouTube. Everybody who spoke. Shout out to Flo. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Pick'em P. For everybody for pulling up, man. Best of luck to you guys tonight. Like I said, if you want my official plays, they are posted on the timeline on Twitter. I'm sorry, on YouTube. And I kind of explained all of them in detail. But 4 plays for me, Jalen Johnson double plus 135 on DraftKings. Clippers on the money line. I gave that out last night. Clippers minus the 2.5. And Bucks and Pacers under the 257.5 are my top 4 looks. I'm trying to go 4-0 real quick, man. I need it. I spent hours, you know, just kind of deep diving into these games. I need that money back that I lost a couple nights ago. So best of luck to everybody tonight. It's only 2 games tomorrow, but we'll break them down tonight. If I find anything I absolutely love, I'll give it out tonight to the members, and then I'll do a quick show tomorrow with those 2 games. So best of luck tonight. Hope you guys get some cash. See you guys tomorrow. I'm out.